Why are you so fired up to put these on your bike?
I mean, one, they look cool, and also Josh Heron rides for Attack, so it's probably the main.
That's 100% it. Okay, Attack Performance rear sets. We did a set on the R1. We sell quite a few Attack Performance rear set kits, triple clamps. They make a lot of great stuff. I mean, you've seen them out there racing Moto America. The owner, Richard, has built MotoGP, CRT machines, you name it, they've done it. Great company, they build real racing parts. These aren't necessarily, I mean, you can use them on street bikes, absolutely can do that, but these are real racing focused parts for sure. Tremendous adjustability, precision movement, machining, all the bearings, everything, the tolerances are very tight. Tremendous grip on the foot pegs, right? Attention to detail is what you see with Attack. And once again, I want you to think not run-of-the-mill ordinary stuff. This is very high-end racing component. Let's ask my little buddy now, Max Van, and tell everybody the truth. Why are you so fired up? Because you've been talking about these things for a month. Why are you so fired up to put these on your bike?
I mean, one, they look cool, and also Josh Heron rides for Attack, so it's probably the main.
That's 100% it. The other thing, he just said that so you didn't know that he was a gigantic Josh Heron fanboy, okay? He's embarrassed a little bit by it. But it is what it is, and at the end of the day, they are great rear sets. I had them on the R1, rode with them quite a bit, really liked them. We're gonna put a set on the Suzuki GSX-R 1000R project bike too, because remember, we wanna show you guys everything, all the different brands, so you can pick the stuff that makes the most sense for you. So focusing now on Attack, tremendous adjustability, great grip on the foot pegs. Josh Heron races for Attack, that's an intangible right there. This kit comes with carbon heel guards. It's capable of standard or GP shift. We're gonna show you that in a second. We've got folding toe pieces. On the brake side for the Yamaha R3, you need extra length with your brake line. We are in the process right now of having Spiegler come up with a custom spec rear brake line for us for the Attack rear sets on the R3. So not only will you be able to get the rear sets from us, you'll be able to we'll have it right in the listing so you can order the rear brake line that's gonna fit this thing perfect with these rear sets. Okay, real quickly on the shift side, remember, we're gonna show you the full install. Once again, same adjustability, carbon heel guard over here. It ships complete with a Heim joint and a shift rod. I did not use that on Max's R3 because we've already installed a DynoJet quick shifter. We've got a power commander on it, the quick shifter. If you have that set up on your bike like we did, what I found is the shift rod length, it was exactly the same. This worked out perfect, zero drama there, really like that. And in the quick shifter video, we talk about if you use the DynoJet rods, which one you would use in this scenario. I actually have a different one in there right now. It's just a piece that we had laying around, so you can kind of refer to that, and I'll try to update this listing too so you understand which one you need. But odds are, if you have the quick shifter on your bike, based on what I saw here, that should work out for you without any issues. If you like what you see so far, and I would guess that you probably do, and you want to see every step, what it takes to get the install completed, which would include the brake line, custom length and fit, just stay tuned. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right into the install. I've already got the OE pair removed. You know, this is a long-going project bike for us. We've been working on this one since 2015. We were going to sell it, actually, at the end of last year, and then my little buddy took it out on the track, and here we are. Longest running project ever. So first thing I'm going to do is I actually removed the foot peg bracket from the main body bracket. We're going to bolt this up first. This is a great spot to use a little bit of Loctite. I'm going to reuse your OE fasteners here. It is possible that mine are going to look a little bit different than yours. The reason behind that is I don't have the OE ones anymore. We've installed several sets of rear sets on this bike, and they've just gotten mixed in the spare bolt spin, so Yours are going to look, for the most part, like this, but they may not be identical. Finger tight. All right, just get them started. You can use Loctite here because you're not going to pull this apart very often. Get them both started, and then run it down. All right, just get them seated. No real torque yet. Once they're both all the way down, go ahead and apply even torque. Because we've already had multiple rear set kits on this bike, I actually started out by taking measurements, foot peg to table, and then foot peg to a fixed position on the bike to determine where we're going to put these so we could start max off in about the same spot. I'll show you that as we go through the rest of the install here. Pull those fasteners out. Okay, now let's take our brake master. We're going to mount that up. I just want to make sure everything, the clearance is good. This is a great opportunity to clean this up a little bit. And then re-lubricate. This is a point you need to have free movement. It's got some just all-purpose grease here. I want to put a little bit inside here. A little bit, just a thin film on the edges. And then we'll finish with some of the actual pin itself. Okay. Let's kind of get everything mocked up here. Slide that through. I think this is still the original cotter pin for this bike, man. This thing has really made it a long way. Okay, once you have that done, right, now we're going to take and we're going to lubricate just a little bit of grease here on the bolts. This is per the instructions. There wasn't a set of instructions with this particular kit. We have another one here for the GSX-R 1000, and I did take a quick peek at that. I like to see the differences between all the brands, what they recommend, and they did show using some light grease here. I would imagine the reason for that is, this is a fastener that it's not unlikely that you're going to remove this and make some adjustments, really dial in your foot peg position. A little bit of lubrication there just ensures that you're going to be able to do that smoothly, prevent that corrosion too. Okay, and then here is the position that we landed on. You're real close to where they were. Once again, just get them started. No torque yet. Once you have them both run down, nice even torque. Like so. Okay, now on the brake side. A little booby trap here, man. That master cylinder, okay, this is a Spiegler brake line, it's made the same spec as an OE. You don't have enough slack in that. The way Attack designed this kit, you have to replace the rear brake line with one that has extra length. Once we get the rear set kit completely installed on the bike, I'm then going to take measurements of the line. I'm going to look at the angle of the fitting too, and we're going to come up with a spec that through Spiegler, you order these rear sets from us, you'll be able to get a rear brake line that fits perfect, okay? For the purpose of the video right now, what I've done is I've drained the rear brake hydraulic system, okay? Because I need to be able to move things around and I don't want fluid dripping everywhere, all right? So I've drained it. I'm gonna take the top banjo off, we'll bolt up the master, and we'll keep going from there. Master cylinder. We need to bolt the master cylinder up now that we're able to do so. You got your carbon guard. Bolts that are supplied with it. We are going to use a little bit of blue Loctite here. When you're doing modifications like this, This isn't like putting a fender eliminator on. You know, this is, you know, a high-end racing component. And there are times the design calls for some additional modification to the bike, and this would be one of those times. Like I said, now we'll be able to, for our STG customers, be able to get that all sorted out for you so that you can order the brake line and the rear sets all at one time. The line that we'll be working with, of course, is Spiegler. Got a long partnership with them. They do a great job. Custom lines, custom applications, custom colors. So it's really going to make that seamless for us and, like I said, and for our customers. Get this torqued down. You don't want to go crazy on that because remember, you've got your carbon there. Nice even torque. I've got the thread locker on there, like so. Now, the foot peg itself. By design, these pegs are captured when you tighten this pinch bolt. This also allows you the opportunity to position these. If you want them just flat like that, you can do it. The way that typically works best is to angle them a little bit forward. That's more of a natural position. With this design, if you have a crash, replacing a foot peg, number one, they're universal, so side to side, super easy, okay? It takes literally seconds to do. Get that torque down. Verified torque on the brake pedal pivot. That's tight. That came assembled from attached. Check everything. Folding toe piece. Okay, so there you have it. There's the brake side. We are going to come back and run through the whole brake line once I get that custom line made up by Spiegler. Okay, the brake line. We got our brake line in from Spiegler today. We're actually going to add this to the website now. It's going to look a lot like what we have here. I'm going to make 2 little adjustments just to help ensure that this will work wherever you put the rear set, foot bracket, and with your axle position too. So it's going to look a lot like what you see, but we'll have this on the website. You'll be able to pick your color line and color fitting as well, and then get this entire kit ready to install. Booby trap avoided. Okay, now we're on the shift side. Let's have a look at it first. Same design as we had on the brake side. The shift pedal is actually part of the foot rest bracket. Then you have your main bracket that bolts to the frame. The kit comes complete with a shift rod and a heim joint. On our R3, we have already installed a quick shifter. Okay, so we will not be using this. We're going to be using what I already have in place here now. Before I go any further, let's just kind of compare length. And it looks like lengthwise, I should be good to go. I'm just going to leave the heim joint that I already had there in place. There's no reason for me to bother swapping that out. That one's in good condition. I'll just put this one over here in the spare box. That's all good to go. Okay. I'm just going to remove that heim joint now. And let's get this ready to install on the bike. Thread locker on the main mounting bolts. Go ahead and put it into position. The shift rod can just dangle for now. Start both just by hand. As on the brake side, we're reusing the OEM fasteners. No torque on that. Just get it seated. Run them both down nice and even. And now we can go ahead and torque them. If you don't feel comfortable without using a torque wrench, by all means grab it. Okay, final torque on both of those. I already moved the rear set bracket to the same position that we're using over on the brake side. So now we need to sort out the shift rod. There are 3 different points to choose from here on that shifter. A couple of things that we want to keep in mind. We want to try and be as close to 90 degrees, the relationship between the shift rod and the shift knuckle, as well as the shift pedal on both sides. This kit will allow for GP or standard shifting. We're using the motorcycle now with GP shift. That's what Max is riding with. So we've already relocated the shift knuckle from the stock position. Okay, I'm going to slide the fastener. I may make adjustments to this down the road, but for now, use the lower hole. Slide the fastener through. Got a little washer that is in there as a spacer between the heim joint and the shift pedal itself. Get that through. Attack is supplied a locking nut. That threaded on there. Go ahead and snug this up now. Like so. And what I want to do now is I just want to kind of look at my clearances here and see if I have any issues. Kind of check the angles. Position of the shifter looks to be about where Max typically runs it. We do have a really strong angle here. I like that. That's 90. This one's, this one's a little tight, but still should have a lot of mechanical advantage because we're at the bottom here of that. And we always have the ability to move this up or down and adjust as needed. Okay, a couple of things we need to do still. We're going to go ahead and I had not torqued these fasteners yet, so I'm going to remove them now, put a little bit of grease on them. And I'll reinstall and then we'll torque them. I also want to put just a little bit of thread locker on the fasteners for the carbon heel guards and make sure those stay there. You don't have to worry as much on the brake side because you've got that large fastener for the master, right? Let's get the lower one started first. Get them both seated. I can torque them down. Check torque on the shifter bolt. That's good and tight. Now the foot peg itself. Want to get that same angle that we had on the other side, or as close to it as possible. Heel guard, just a tiny little bit of blue. On these fasteners. You want to come back in after a session or a race and find your kick-ass carbon heel guard is gone. So just take the extra time here to put a little thread locker. Sure that does not happen. Okay, they did have Loctite here on the shift pedal fastener, the pivot fastener from Attack. I expected they would, but considering the fact that I don't ride this bike myself, this bike is being ridden by Max, I want to do everything I can to try and ensure that I can avoid any kind of trouble or failure when he's out on the track. It's really selfish, it's just so I can keep riding and I don't have to worry about him, be fixing his bike. So I decided just to pull that real quick and double check it. Put final torque on it. Now I know for sure there's Loctite on there and we're good to go. Shifter side is done. Okay, let's bring this one home. The first thing we learned was little Max Van wanted to add these to his R3 primarily because Josh Heron is using them on his Attack Performance Heron Compound Superbike. They're a great part, he understands that too, but the main reason was because Josh is a badass. Great part, tons of adjustability, okay? Little brake line booby trap, we've got that sorted out for you, not a big deal. The position we chose was the furthest up and the furthest back you could go. If I want to go further back, we needed to lower it one hole, so comparing it to what we had on there before and knowing where Max wanted it, this is where we decided to go. Foot peg position, rolled forward just a little bit. It's going to put him in a more athletic position. Quality, I mean just the feel, the levers and stuff is just fantastic. Folding toe pieces, great. It's going to work with standard or GP shift. We'll go to the other side now and just show you the shift side again. We have it set up with a quick shifter in GP shift right now for Max. We were able to reuse the same rods that we had on the bike with the Vortex rear sets. Comparing the shift rod Attack sent to what I had built up here for the DynoJet quick shifter, the length was very, very similar, so that worked no problem at all. You can see the position same as the other side. Foot peg, same place. Real nice feel here with the shifter, really dig that. All in all, quality part. I've used these before on the R1 that I had and I really enjoyed riding these. Very aggressive foot peg, tons of grip there for sure. With Attack, it is all about performance and racing. That is what they do. They don't really make street-based components. Sure, you could use these on the street if that's what you want to do, but they're really made for track day riders and racers alike. I'm Brian Van, SportbikeTrackGear.com.